The Peace of Augsburg, also called the Augsburg Settlement, was a treaty between Charles V and the forces of the Schmalkaldic League, an alliance of Lutheran princes, on September 25, 1555, at the imperial city of Augsburg, in present-day Bavaria, Germany. It officially ended the religious struggle between the two groups and made the legal division of Christendom permanent within the Holy Roman Empire. Overview. The peace established the principle Quia Regio, eius religio, which allowed Holy Roman Empire's states as princes to select either Lutheranism or Catholicism within the domains they controlled, ultimately reaffirming the independence they had over the states. Subjects, citizens, or residents who did not wish to conform to the prince's choice were given a period in which they were free to emigrate to different regions in which the desired religion had been accepted. Charles V had made a provisional ruling on the religious question, the Augsburg Interim of 1548. This offered a temporary ruling on the legitimacy of two religious creeds in the empire, and codified by law on the 30th of June 1548 upon the insistence of Charles V, who wanted to work out religious differences under the auspices of a General Council of the Catholic Church. The interim reflected largely Catholic principles of religious behavior in its 26 articles, but it did allow for marriage of the clergy, and the giving of both bread and wine to the laity. This led to resistance by the Protestant territories, who proclaimed their own interim at Leipzig the following year. The interim was overthrown in 1552 by the revolt of the Protestant Elector Maurice of Saxony and his allies. In the negotiations at Passau in the summer of 1552, even the Catholic princes had called for a lasting peace, fearing the religious controversy would never be settled. The emperor, however, was unwilling to recognize the religious division in Western Christendom as permanent. This document was foreshadowed by the Peace of Passau, which in 1552 gave Lutherans religious freedom after a victory by Protestant armies. Under the Passau document, Charles granted a peace only until the next imperial diet. The meeting was called in early 1555. The treaty, negotiated on Charles's behalf by his brother Ferdinand, effectively gave Lutheranism official status within the domains of the Holy Roman Empire. According to the policy of Quia Regio, eius religio, the religion of a region's ruler determined the religion of its people. During a grace period, families could choose to move to a region where the faith was practiced. Knights and towns who had practiced Lutheranism for some time were exempted under the Declaratio Ferdinandi, but the ecclesiastical reservation supposedly prevented the principle of Quia Regio, eius religio from being applied if an ecclesiastical ruler converted to Lutheranism. Main principles. The Peace of Augsburg contained three main principles. The principle of Quia Regio, eius religio, provided for internal religious unity within a state. The religion of the prince became the religion of the state and all its inhabitants. Those inhabitants who could not conform to the prince's religion were allowed to leave, an innovative idea in the 16th century. This principle was discussed at length by the various delegates, who finally reached agreement on the specifics of its wording after examining the problem and a proposed solution from every possible angle. The second principle, called the Reservatum Ecclesiasticum, covered the special status of the ecclesiastical state. If the prelate of an ecclesiastic state changed his religion, the men and women living in that state did not have to do so. Instead, the prelate was expected to resign from his post, although this was not spelled out in the agreement. The third principle, known as Declaratio Ferdinandi, exempted knights and some of the cities from the requirement of religious uniformity. If the Reformed religion had been practiced since the mid-1520s, allowing for a few mixed cities and towns where Catholics and Lutherans had lived together, it also protected tested the authority of the princely families, the knights and some of the cities to determine what religious uniformity meant in the territories. Ferdinand inserted this at the last minute on his own authority. The third principle exempted knights and some of the cities under the jurisdiction of an ecclesiastical prince if they had practiced Lutheranism. For some time, the provision was not publicized as part of the treaty and was kept secret for almost 2 decades. Problems. The document itself had critical problems. While it gave legal basis for the practice of the Lutheran confession, it did not accept any of the Reformed traditions, such as Calvinism, or for Anabaptism. Although the Peace of Augsburg was moderately successful in relieving tension in the empire and increasing tolerance, it left important things undone. Neither the Anabaptists nor the Calvinists were protected under the peace, so many Protestant groups living under the rule of a Lutheran prince still found themselves in danger of the charge of heresy. These minorities did not achieve any legal recognition until the Peace of Westphalia in 1648. The intolerance towards Calvinists caused them to take desperate measures that led to the 30 Years' War. One of the more notable measures was the Second Defenestration of Prague, in which 2 representatives of the fiercely Catholic Holy Roman Emperor, Ferdinand II, were thrown out of a castle window in Prague. Aftermath. The principle of ecclesiastical reservation was tested in the Cologne War, which grew out of the scenario envisioned by Ferdinand when he wrote the proviso. The reigning prince-bishop converted to Protestantism, although he did not insist that the population convert. He placed Calvinism on a parity with Catholicism throughout the electorate of Cologne. This in itself created a twofold legal problem. First, Calvinism was considered a heresy. Second, the elector did not resign his see, which made him eligible, at least in theory, to cast a ballot for emperor. Finally, his marriage posed the very real potential to convert the electorate into a dynastic principality, shifting the balance of religious power in the empire. A side effect of the religious turmoil was Charles's decision to abdicate and divide Habsburg territory into 2 sections. His brother Ferdinand ruled the Austrian lands, and Charles's fervently Catholic son, Philip II, became administrator of Spain, the Spanish Netherlands, parts of Italy, and other overseas holdings. Bibliography. Hoban, Hafo. A History of Modern Germany. The Reformation. Princeton University Press, 1959, ISBN 9780691007953.